One of the world's major staple crops can release cyanide in your body, and people still turned it into dinner, not by being tough, by shredding it, soaking it for days, fermenting it, drying it, and roasting it until the poison dropped. So yeah, some foods are basically poisons with instructions. That's the real answer to how ancient humans knew what was safe to eat, before anyone had lab coats or microscopes. Ancient humans weren't wandering around like one brave idiot licking every berry and calling it research. That guy doesn't get a sequel. The group survives because the group remembers. Your tongue remembers. Your nose remembers. Your gut remembers. Your elders remember. And eventually, the recipe remembers for everyone, even when nobody can explain why. So here's the thing. A lot of ancient food knowledge wasn't a list of safe plants with neat check marks. It was a list of moves, done in the right order. Don't eat that raw. Peel it, pound it, wash it, wait, then cook it. Then maybe feed it to a child without panic. Cassava is the cleanest example. Bitter cassava can carry chemicals that turn into hydrogen cyanide. Traditional processing cuts that danger way down when people do every step. 97.1 to 99.8%. That's not just a seasoning choice. That's survival work, hiding inside dinner. Wait, it gets worse. In rural Zaire, some families shortened cassava soaking because hunger, conflict, or drought squeezed them. 3 days became 1 day. The cassava still looked like food, same color, same stomach-filling promise, but children's cyanide exposure marker spiked inside their bodies. 757 versus 50. And a paralytic disease called konzo appeared in the community. Same plant, different recipe, different body. And if you're thinking humans are born with good food instincts after one sniff, no, seriously, toddlers are chaos with teeth. In one experiment, kids were offered more than 30 things. Normal food, crayons, dish soap, fake dog poop. More than half of the youngest kids would mouth stuff like that without much hesitation. So babies don't arrive as tiny botanists. They arrive needing a culture more than instinct, which explains why kids copy eaters. At 12 months old, infants preferred food praised by someone speaking their native language over a stranger's happy face. Same smile from both adults, but the familiar voice won. Because local food rules are local. This berry here might be fine. That lookalike berry over there might wreck you before you understand the difference. This shellfish might be safe in spring, and a bad idea after an algal bloom when toxins move through the water. Your body does help though. Bitter taste is the first little alarm. Humans have about 25 working bitter receptors. 25. But bitter doesn't mean poison every time. Coffee is bitter. Grapefruit is bitter. Some poisons aren't bitter at all. So bitter taste is more like a smoke alarm mounted in your mouth. Sometimes wrong, still worth listening to. Smell does another job. Rot, feces, rancid fat, smoke. Your nose is scanning for trouble. But culture trains smell too. One person's spoiled fish smell is another person's fermented dinner, because somebody taught them what safe fermentation smells like. Then there's the gut's emergency file system. Eat something new, get sick later. Your brain can staple those together forever, even if the timing seems unfair. Scientists call it conditioned taste aversion. John Garcia showed this with rats in the 1950s. A sweet taste got paired with radiation sickness. The rats avoided the sweet taste later, even though the sickness came after a delay. That matters a lot. You don't need to know the word alkaloid or cyanogenic glycoside. You just need nausea to say never again and mean it. Disgust is the louder cousin, and it's dramatic. In a classic experiment, adults saw a sterilized cockroach touch juice. They knew it was clean. They still didn't want the juice. Honestly, fair. Disgust overreacts on purpose. One false alarm costs lunch. One missed alarm can cost your life, especially when nobody has medicine. Now zoom way back. About 1 million years ago, at Wonderwork Cave, someone was burning food inside a cave, and that changes everything. Fire killed microbes, softened tubers, made meat safer, and turned danger into dinner. At Gesher Benot Ya'aqov, 780,000 years ago, people cooked big freshwater fish. Researchers found more than 40,000 fish remains, mostly throat teeth, clustered near ancient hearths. That means cooking wasn't a cute upgrade. It was part of knowing what counted as food, not just what tasted good. The same site had dozens of edible plant types: seeds, nuts, water plants, roots. So the menu was already complicated, seasonal, risky, and learned. And complicated is the whole game. Acorns are packed with calories. They're also loaded with bitter tannins. So people shelled them, ground them, and washed the meal until the bitterness left. Maize had its own secret. In Mesoamerica, people cooked it with lime or ash before grinding it into dough. That made niacin easier to use. When maize traveled without that process, pellagra followed people who depended on it, even though the corn was filling. Again, the crop wasn't enough. The method mattered. Even spices may have been doing quiet labor before fridges entered the chat. One study checked 4,578 meat recipes across 36 countries. Hotter places used more antimicrobial spices. The cook says, "This tastes right." The microbes get less of a vote, and your stomach gets a better chance. And then there are taboos. In Fiji, pregnant and breastfeeding women avoided certain reef fish during the riskiest months: barracuda, moray eel, shark. Older women said, "Don't eat that now." The science says ciguatera risk is real, even if nobody says that word. Those taboos could cut poisoning risk by 30% during pregnancy and 60% during breastfeeding. Less than 5% learned by getting poisoned themselves the hard way. Most learned by listening, which is exactly the point. Even pregnancy nausea may fit this old pattern. About 2/3 of pregnant women get nausea or vomiting, often around strong smells, meat, and intense plant flavors. That doesn't make severe sickness okay. Treat suffering, always. But mild aversion may be another ancient warning light when the stakes are tiny and enormous. So how did ancient humans know what was safe? They didn't know like chemists. They knew like bodies. They knew like families, like grandmothers at the fire, like kids watching hands instead of theories, like a recipe whispered until nobody remembered the first mistake around the fire. Before chemistry had names for cyanide, tannins, alkaloids, microbes, and mycotoxins, culture already had moves for them, stored in hands. And somewhere in your favorite traditional food, there might be an old danger, quietly held down by someone's memory that you never met.